What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be doing a video that's specifically addressed to quite literally anybody who is LFT in Tier 3 Valorant as of right now, or honestly any tier, to be honest. If you're LFT, period, this video will give you methods and outlines on things to do in order to um, make yourself a better candidate and to help you find your next team. The reality is, after OQ2, a lot of teams disbanded, and probably the biggest amount of LFT players rose to the surface. Um, I understand that. I mean, from personal experience, I have a lot of friends who are still LFT. I know a lot of people who are still LFT and that have been LFT since the after OQ2. But this video is really just for the people who are finding, like, they have a hard time finding a team and they don't necessarily know what to do while they're LFT, because obviously you can't necessarily scrim. Like, yeah, you can try it all you want, but that's not going to lead you anywhere. Like, how do you stay consistent and how do you actually go about finding another team that is like a good opportunity for you, right? So yeah, like I said, like a lot of players went LFT after OQ2. Probably the biggest amount of LFTs I've ever seen, from personal experience. A lot of my friends, a lot of people that I know are currently LFT, and the reality is, I would say 95% of these players are quite literally just sitting around on Twitter waiting for someone to DM them. And the reality is, and again, this might be like, it is going to be blunt, and this is simply to kind of underline sort of the entire subject of this video. Is the reality is, waiting on Twitter for an opportunity is going to lead you nowhere, right? And only queuing ranked because you can't scrim is also like not the best thing to do. Like, yeah, you're gonna improve, or yeah, you're gonna work on certain things by playing ranked. Like, playing ranked is a good thing, but there are other things that you should be doing in order to make yourself the best candidate possible when you get into that trial. Like, people are like, it's to a point where um tournaments like the Fun Aver are not being filled like completely because so many players that want to play it are LFT. Well, the reality is, like, people just need to wake up and like actually settle for something, because there are people like, there's two options, bro. There's two types of, like, two reasons why you're still LFT. It's either like the team that you're trialing for is not good enough for you, or so you think so, or the good enough teams that you think are good enough for you just don't offer you a fucking spot. And that says, like, quite literally everything you need to know about your situation as a player. That's just how it is. Um, when you're trialing for a team, they're looking for specific things, and if you don't put the work outside of like playing ranked in order to make yourself the best candidate possible, then you can't expect good teams to offer you a spot on the team. And yeah, of course, like, the shittier teams are going to offer you a spot, because the reality is everybody's desperate. Everybody's trying to like get into competing. Like, the Fun Avers are are bi-weekly now. People want to play those, but to play those, you need 5 players. So teams are getting very desperate. But it doesn't mean that a good team is going to be like desperate enough to offer you a spot out of nowhere without you doing any sort of fucking work outside of it. So that's basically the subject of this video. I'm going to show you like a few things that you can do outside of like just playing ranked, in order to put yourself in a better position to get on a team. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is kind of the agent pool. So obviously, when you post your fucking LFT, you kind of post like a agent tier list on like what your good agents are and stuff like that. The number one thing you should be looking for when you're LFT is trying to expand your agent pool. Now I'm gonna take like the easiest example, which is Duelist. So let's say you're LFT for Duelist. I mean, probably you have Jet in S tier. Probably you have Raze in S tier. I would fucking hope. You probably have, what are the fucking Duelists? Let me just put them into D tier. Hold up. ISO, Phoenix. Am I missing one? Reyna. I think that's it. Yeah. So obviously, like the two main duelists are Jet and Raze. But if you look at the meta closely, and again, this applies to duelists, but this applies to quite literally anybody, because Sky has been nerfed. This means that all the other initiators are becoming more and more viable and more used. Like you see KO being used on more than fucking Ascent, which is like something we haven't seen in a while. Breach is being used more. Gecko's being used more. Like all the agents are being used more, right? And this like shows that now more than ever is the best time to like expand your agent pool. This will make you a more valuable player, because the reality is, if you can offer that possibility to a team where let's say this is your agent pool. Let's say this is your agent pool. I mean, I don't really give a fuck. Like, let's say this is your agent pool. If a team decides to pick you up as their duelist player, they know that they're gonna, like, they can only run Jet or Raze. And if they take Neon or Phoenix, they'll have like a lot of work to put into you, and Yoru, it's even worse. So like they know they're only gonna have to play Jet and Raze for a long fucking time, and this really just narrows down the possibilities that they could run, right? So let's say they wanted to run a Yoru comp, which by the way, Yoru is being used more and more and more. Like if you look at his pick rate on Breeze, it's insane. He's being used more on Bind. Like Yoru's being used more. Neon is being used more. So you look at maps like Lotus, Breeze as well. I know Bleed ran fucking Neon on Breeze as well. Phoenix, you've seen teams like Loud run Phoenix. Like he's pretty fucking viable on Sunset. And like we've seen him on Ascent. So the point is, like, why not give the potential team that you're trialing for like that extra option? Like you want as many doors as possible. You don't want to shut down doors. Like this is shutting down a door right there. If they wanted to run Yoru, well, they can't. They're not going to pick you up if they want to run Yoru, because you fucking suck on Yoru. So while you're LFT, the number one, like the best thing you can possibly do is not only getting better individually, but expanding. Well, part of being better individually is expanding your agent pool in the first place, but you know what I mean. Expand your agent pool. So make this Yoru an S tier. Make this Neon an A tier. Right? Potentially make Phoenix too. Like, this is a good agent pool. Like, nobody fucking cares about ISO. I don't care what you put in, bro. But, like, this is a good agent pool for a duelist player, because they know that whatever they want to run, they're not going to be restricted by your ability to play the duelist role. They're going to have to worry about other people. Well, okay, if we want to run the, let's say, the loud comp with Phoenix, okay, well, that means we need someone who plays, like, I don't fucking know, dude, like, because everything else is so standard. Like, oh, we need like a breach player on Ascent. Okay, cool. We have to, like, you know what I'm saying? If you want to, I don't know, like a Yoru player on Breeze, well, that means you know, they're going to have to worry about other people. They're not going to have to worry about you. They're not going to be like, okay, well, can our duelist player play Yoru, or can our duelist player play Neon, or whatever? If you don't give them that worry, already there, you're in a better position than if this was your agent pool. Because this, you know for a fact that if they wanted to run Yoru, or if they wanted to run some sort of unorthodox comps with some weird duelists, that they could not. So they're going to automatically look at someone else, and, well, they're not going to look at someone else specifically just for that, but you know that if you are being compared to someone else with that agent pool, well, obviously this player is going to get picked over you. You see? And this works for any role, bro. This works for initiators, controllers, sentinels, whatever. It all comes down to the same thing. The number one thing you could be doing while your LFT is expanding your agent pool. If you're not doing that and you're still LFT, I don't know why the fuck you're crying. You know? Like, you have to put in some work, bro. So the best ways to learn new agents, well, first of all, watch VODs, like professional VODs of, you know, people who use the agent, see what utility is, you know, used at what time, at what situations and stuff like that. Increase your game sense on this specific agent and try to apply it. So Q ranked, you know, do whatever you have to do to learn. You know, if you're playing controller like Viper and stuff and you have to learn lineups, then learn fucking lineups, bro. But actually try to expand your agent pool. And again, it can be duelist, but you know, before when Chamber was pretty good, like a duelist player that could play Chamber, that was even more valuable. Or, you know, you see a lot more fraggers who, you know, play Omen now. Like you've seen like Tens, like he's an old like S tier duelist player, but now he plays mainly controller and flex. That is a very valuable asset to have as a player. That is why Tens is like one of the best players of all time, is because he has been dominant on every single fucking role. Like he's played every role. I think the only role he hasn't played is Senti. That is a huge asset to have as a player, bro. So please, if you're LFT, you don't have prac, you only play ranked, at least watch some VODs, learn new agents, and play new agents in ranked as well, bro. Increase your agent pool. It's going to make you a more valuable player and a more valuable candidate for any team who's trying to pick you up. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, so filling for tournaments. So I know a lot of people already do that, but there's also a big amount of people who just, oh, I'm LFT and I'm looking for a team. I'm not gonna try to put my name out there. Dude, you just have to wake the fuck up and fill for these tournaments. Like if you look at the fun average, it's every 2 weeks, it's weekends. If you don't have anything, I highly recommend you try to sub for a team, right? That's already in there. Obviously this is playoffs, so it's not like necessarily the same teams, but try to fill it in for a team. And if you can't find a team, just reach out to support staff and try to register as an emergency sub, because every single tournament there's at least 1 or 2 teams who end up having like a no-show, and it's a good opportunity for you to get in the server with like actual players. And not only is it good experience because you're playing like a decent tournament, you're also like expanding your like your networking, basically. Like you're gonna play with new players, and they're gonna have like a taste of what you can do, and those players can eventually become your vouchers. And then the more vouchers that you get, the more credible that you're gonna be. So it's just like it's a cycle, right? It's a circle effect. So that's the second thing I recommend you to do, is, you know, posting on Twitter like that you're willing to sub for any team who needs it or whatever, or pug it out if you can, or, you know, whatever the fuck you can do. And if that doesn't work, you can't find anything there, then you should reach out to staff for the fun average or whatever other tourney that's on VLR, or any tourney really, and try to register as an emergency sub. Because if, like I said, a team comes in and one of their players has either internet issues or he can't show up or whatever, well, they're going to reach out to you and say, yo, you have to play for that team. And then you get free server time on a tournament, and you get to increase like your reach, because you meet new people, and these people can become your vouchers if you show them what you can do. So that's the second thing. Third thing is vodding. So I kind of did it comes back to the same thing that I said with my other video when it comes to like team vodding and stuff like that. But personal vodding is very important as well. And when you're LFT, obviously you don't have your own VODs to watch like from scrims, but pro vodding is one of the most effective ways to increase game sense and to increase like just overall knowledge of the game. So I recommend downloading Insights or going on the browser, whatever, making a server for yourself, make a channel, upload VODs. So whatever VODs you want, bro. You go on VLR, here, Sentinels, bro, because they won Masters, whatever. That's the first team that pops in my head. You go to Sentinels. Let's say you want the Paper X game, whatever map you're trying to watch. It doesn't necessarily matter. There you go. You have the map. You have the link. Boom, boom. upload videos. There you go. Whoops. Upload, and it's going to be right there. And then you can put your timestamps, your comments, and you can go back and read them, right? Good, bad, neutral. You write whatever the fuck you want. So let's say here, surely they start the game. Like here, good, like he did this, send. And then you keep watching it, and then to another point you're gonna say, oh, bad, he did this. Like, personal vodding is one of the most effective ways to increase game sense. So if you're LFT and you're not scrimming, you should be playing ranked, learning new agents, increasing your agent pool, and watching VODs. That's quite literally what you should be doing. If you're not doing any of that, why the fuck are you crying on Twitter, oh, I can't find a team? Like, there has to be some sort of effort in order for you to like find a good team. Because I know that most of you that are LFT already have offers from like a bunch of teams. You're just like, you have too big of an ego to say, okay, well, I'm gonna join this team. Like, nah, they're too shit, whatever the fuck. Okay, if you want a good team, then put the work in, right? So that's the second thing. Third thing I recommend is keeping a consistent schedule, right? So let's say you were on a team previously and that was your schedule, right? That's like a pretty reasonable schedule. A lot of teams do that. So they run theory from 1 hour before scrims, right? They practice 4 times a week for 4 hours. Well, there you go. So your theory, if you were supposed to do 7 to 8 theory, like on that day, you should be vodding. So this here, you should be doing that for like an hour, right? Watch one map. One map is give or take an hour, right? You do this. And then when you're supposed to play scrims, well, you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to play ranked, right? Keep the same consistency that you had in your previous team, because one thing that's very easy to do while you're LFT is just become very, very, very lazy and, you know, push everything back to the next day, to the next day, and to the next day. And at the end of like the fucking week, you just did nothing, right? So keep a consistent schedule. You know, you can use the schedule outline that you would have like on your previous teams or whatever, or you can make yourself a new schedule. That's completely fine, because let's say you have like availability changes or whatever, completely fine. You can make your own schedule, right? That you put yourself reminders in. You say, okay, this is my theory time. I'm going to go VOD. Okay, I'm VODing. I'm done. Bet. What's next? Okay, scrims. I'm not on a fucking team, so I'm going to go play ranked. You play ranked for a couple hours, right? Make yourself like, you know, be proactive. Be, like you just have to be determined, and you have to put the time in order for you to like actually find a team. Because what happens is most of you go LFT and you're like, okay, my Twitter post is out. I have like, I don't know, 9K, 10K impressions. Bet I'm going to wait for someone to DM me, and you just don't fucking touch the game for like a week. Or you just play ranked, which is cool. You can play ranked. I even recommend you to play ranked, but you should be doing other things outside of playing ranked to make yourself a better player. Because the reality is, the mentality you should be having while you're going LFT is, I'm not good enough right now. I need to make myself like good enough to get on the team that is going to offer me a spot. That is the mentality you should have. If you don't have this mentality, well, you can't expect you can't expect to get a message out of the blue and say, yo, we're a good team. We want you. Join us. That's just not how it works. Right? So that's kind of it for this video. It's pretty short. I mean, it really just gives an outline on, you know, recommendations from me that, you know, I know for a fact, because I coach a Valorant team. I know what I'm looking for when I'm trialing people, and I know what people do when like outside of their, like on their own time when they're LFT. And that is like a big part of the reason. Like, you can tell who puts an effort into expanding their agent pool. You know who puts in an effort to VOD. You know who puts in an effort to actually play ranked. Because the reality is, there's a bunch of LFT players who just don't touch the game for like 2 weeks until they get a DM. That's just not how it works. So lock in, increase your agent pool, right? Try to sub in for tournaments as much as you can. It's good experience, good networking. It's going to get you more vouchers and stuff like that, and more connections in the scene. Vod review, right? increase your game sense, learn some shit, keep a consistent schedule. So put yourself reminders, right? Be consistent with what you're doing and be proactive, and be efficient. That's all you have to do. And if you keep that consistency up, well, it's going to take like, obviously I can't tell you how long it's going to take, but it's like one day or another, you're going to wake up and you're going to get that opportunity. Like, okay, like I can finally join a team that actually suits me or whatever the fuck you're looking for. Right. So hopefully that helps. I hope for all of those that, like all of you who are LFT right now who are having a hard time to find a team, this will help you. I know this will help you if you follow it by the letter, and I truly wish you the best, like moving forward. I hope you find what you're looking for. But you have to understand, I only wish that for you if you're actually putting the work in, and the reality is you're only going to get it if you actually put the work in. All right, so lock in, and yeah, I wish you the best, bro.